Vasudeva Sutam Devam Kansa Chanuramardanam Devaki Paramanandam Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum. Om. Adorations to Lord Krishna, the preceptor of the universe, destroyer of the forces of darkness, and bestower of immortality. Srimad Bhagavad Gita, this is the last chapter, 18th, and verse number 57. The general topic is to present the essence of Gita teachings that should be brought into your daily life. 57th verse. Chetasa sarva karmani mayi sanyasya matpara buddhi yogam upashritya macchitta satatam bhava. Resigning all actions to me by the force of understanding. Me doesn't refer to me. Divine self. It refers to each of you. The me in you is not your ego. The real me, that's a big problem, you see. So, resigning all actions to the real, the absolute I am. And that resigning will not be possible in a sentimental way. You can say, from tomorrow I'm going to resign everything. You may begin, that's perfectly okay. But you must understand that real resignation will come in a progressive manner. Each time something good you do, if you don't have resignation, then every time you do anything, give the credit to your ego. In other words, I did it. And when things go wrong, then we have a big problem. Ego acts in a foxy way and advises you, find someone. He did it. So keep that. Resigning all actions to me, that's the highest goal. The goal is actual revelation of reality. Ego doesn't accomplish anything because ego doesn't exist. It's an illusion. When you go to sleep, ego is not there. As long as your mind operates, a fake reflection of this divine self begins to take up the role of your ego. That I have already touched upon it and will get into it again and again. So resigning all actions to me by the force of understanding. The act of understanding term is very important. Sanskrit word is mati. Understanding can be sumati or kumati. Good understanding or bad understanding. If your function of intellect is trying to satisfy the ego, then it is bad understanding. Kumati. Jaha kumati taha vipati nidhana. And wherever there is kumati, you will find a treasure house of all adversities. Jaha sumati taha sampati nana. And wherever there is good understanding, there is boundless prosperity. Simple mantras. So it is that by the force of good understanding, sumati, holding me as the supreme love. I am the source of all that is lovable, the embodiment of supreme love. Atmanastu kamaya sarvam priyam bhavati. Things become dear to you. Try to figure out what is the dearest to you. And without going to details, dearest to you is yourself. Because if you are not there and your body is not working, or brain is not operating, what's the use of having all the dear ones? The dearest to you is you. But then you have to now discover who is this you? Who am I? In that discovery lies your real insight into what is the dearest. I am that am I, that all religions have described that I am. That I am is God, divine self. That absolute divine self alone exists. So that God is the source of boundless love. So, if you want to fulfill your aspiration for being united with those whom you love, develop your attention towards the profound secret or mantra. Explore, who am I? Recognize the divine self within you. The recognition has two stages. Intellectual function, as intellect becomes more and more purified, you listen to the scriptures and it settles in your mind. Another, you discover increasing sense of loving relationship with God, as if you are being led by a divine mother. Only difficulty, she doesn't have only two hands. She has million hands. I'm joking, but God is leading you on. So no matter how things may appear miserable, that's the secret of spiritual success. Grow in your daily life in such a way. Practice japa, satsanga, practice integral yoga in daily life. Leading to that development, that you feel you are in touch with God, who is the absolute love. And if you have nothing else to do, then you are completely enfolded. That's called mat para. Mat, here term refers to I am, the divine self. Para, parayan. You become profoundly devoted to God. As life flows on, the devotion shines brighter and brighter. And when the life culminates in this relative world, you have nothing to lose. The river enters the ocean. And you are not born again. But if you have not discovered that type of movement, fascinating movement for the soul, love that allows the soul to face challenging conditions, being shaken and being injured, that's part of reality. But no matter how shaken, how injured, that love shines ultimately. It goes on becoming brighter. That love is like the moon that emerges out of a cloud. And each time it emerges out of a dark cloud, it shines brighter. So you are not losing the love of your heart. Facing challenges, that love of your heart shines brighter and brighter and brighter. That's called mat para. Buddhi yoga upashritya. Having taken refuge in the yoga of buddhi, buddhi term relates to sumati, the yoga that promotes pure understanding, an understanding that you live in this world for the sole purpose of attaining liberation. And put it in a more extensive way, 4 purposes of life. Your life is really enriched if you continue to follow the path of righteousness, be good. That should not be taken away. That should be your foundation of a spiritual movement. So that's for Dharma. Backed up by Dharma, not letting go that adherence to Dharma. Now, allow yourself to explore material resources, face material reality, artha. And third stage, called vital value, social value. How do you live in this world in relation to your family members, in relation to people around you? How best can you live to allow your heart to become generous, compassionate, and your personality to become like a blossom? All that possible if there are people around you. Otherwise, a blossom somewhere in a lonely forest. Not even bees go there. And keep your mind ever focused on me. Mind must be led to understand by day-to-day listening, reflection. The reality, absolute reality, does not come in the realm of mind. Mind experiences on the basis of thought waves. Thought waves, any experience of yours is led by thought waves of your mind. For easy understanding, any experience in a cinema show, any scene you are seeing, is led by frames after frames being projected on the screen. Each frame being projected is like a thought wave. In between the 2 frames, there is a little split of a second. And during that split, there is only screen. But the business world knows that split will not We remove the fascination for the picture. I'm joking. The idea is that you enjoy, your vision does not have that type of subtlety to see the picture coming up like frame after frame after frame. And you see some strange demon coming with blood all over his face. Then instead of getting frightened, you begin to smile. Look at the tomatoes coming out of his mouth. I'm joking, but the idea to understand. That's the predicament. Human experiences are led by thought waves of your mind. And you have a relief of that when you go to sleep. Thought waves go through a different mode. And you don't miss anything. Thought waves defined your time, your space, past, immense past, the big future, all that you were learned from the world, history, geography, and all those things, they're pushed away. And in deep sleep, you are missing nothing. This gives you points to that deeper reality. Again, I will remind you of that. Bhava pratyaya and pratyaya bhava. Vritti-based reality. That's what people go after. But vritti-based reality, thought wave-based reality is a cinema show. The real reality as it is when vrittis move away, when cinema show concludes. Projection moves away from the screen. So as long as projections are there, it's called bhava pratyaya, the presence of projections. The goal is negation of projections. That's called pratyaya bhava. The very projections become absent, negated. That's towards that an aspirant has to strive. And your progress comes gradual, progressive move. And the subtle key in that progress lies in your ego. If you are really progressing, your ego will undergo changes. Tamasic ego expects to be entertained in this world by crooked deals, crooked things. Day passes by and you have nothing to hear scandalous or things of that nature, or terrorizing. You find you bored. Nothing is happening this way. And that's, I'm joking. But there are people, they live their life constantly using their intellect like a fox. Whom I must go after and make their life miserable. And while doing that, they have no regrets. There's kind of a whole mati, understanding has become altered. Kumati. They find great fulfillment in first creating a concept that someone is the terrible person. And now acting against it, how to destroy that person, how to harm the person. That's called tamasic ego. Rajasic ego that creates virtue and vice, does good deeds as well as negative deeds. And it is rajasic ego that can take you ascending heights of glory and descending depths of degradation. But this rajasic ego has the possibility of opening the door to something extremely advanced. In other words, tamasic ego should not be promoted. Don't let your mind stay with revenge and negative deeds. Third type of ego is sattvic ego. Ego that begins to recognize the divine hand operating through your life. And if sattva goes on increasing, sattva again plays, in the beginning, sattva goes on helping the tamas and rajas. If little sattva is there, that doesn't give you profound benefit. But if you go on doing good deeds and come into satsanga atmosphere, this is brought out in Ramayana story. Vibhishana plays the role of sattva. In the beginning, he helped Ravana and Kumbhakarna, and they all depended upon him. And those two were big demons. Later, he joins Rama. And in storyline, he was kicked away by Ravana. If you are spiritually advancing, then rajas and tamas are not in harmony with your sattva. Your sattva doesn't listen to the words of rajas and tamas. It goes after Rama. Figure that out. People who become devotee of God and they begin to follow a spiritual path, they face that predicament. People around, they go on pointing finger. What has happened to you? You lost all your practicality. Terrible things will happen to you. But you don't listen. The sattva, if sattva has come to a higher level, you are not affected by all this because you have a direct experience. The more sattva, the more touch with God. And for that we get into next verse. Matchittaha sarvadurgani matprasadat tarishyasi atachetva mahamkarat nashosyasi vinangshyasi. By fixing your mind on me, you will overcome all obstacles by my grace. This becomes now the highlight of a spiritual life. If your mind has become aware of the joy of developing divine love, you will not be shaken by adversity, or you will not become vain by prosperity. You will overcome all obstacles. One thing to understand, when that has developed, obstacles don't vanish. If you are a mountain climber and you have that heroic spirit of climbing, if that heroic spirit is secure, then when you see small mountains before you, you are not afraid. Rather, you find they are giving you opportunity for testing your strength. It adds to your heroic move. Otherwise, climbing a Mount Everest without having gone through any hill or mountain, that will be impossible. By fixing your mind on me, you will overcome all obstacles by my grace. Another way, the scriptures teach, think of a old grinding machine. It's not a machine, it's a hand grinding equipment. You put grains that are away from the center, they are crushed into powder. But the grains that stay stuck to the central prop or whatever it is, they remain untouched. Even though the machine goes on whirling. Don't take it literally. We're not selling machines. Simple moral behind it, the more distant you are from God within, more you are being crushed by the world, your karmas and the world of multiplicity, the more all this impact upon you. And there's no one to support you. Ego doesn't have all that ability. So therefore, you open the door to countless miseries, sadness, sorrows, frustrations. But if you hold on to your japa, surrender to God, drawing strength from your japa, meditation, drawing inspiration from satsanga, uplifting study of scriptures. If you create that type of atmosphere for your mind, you find that obstacles are only opportunities. They are not really meant to hurt you. Viruses have entered your body. The nose starts sneezing. A joke. That's an adversity. The nose should be doing the sole job. But in medical terms, it is an opportunity. Your body is acting to remove anything that is toxic. Similarly, the profound way, adversities that come in your life, if you have that devotional relation with God, first point, adversities will not come unnecessarily. Secondly, if they come, you will have insight how to face them by prayer, etc. Thirdly, you will see, while facing adversity, miracle of grace. Someone falls from a big height, and everybody watches that now it's gone, but not so. The person falls into a little cart load of flowers. And instead of being horrified, holified. So, mat chittaha sarva durgani mat prasadat tarishyas. If your mind is focused on me with love, with understanding, God is the source of all my love. God is the reality in me. If that becomes increasingly mature, strong, sarva durgani, all obstacles, Durga term refers to you are moving on the path and suddenly a big rock comes in front of you. Becomes an obstacle. If you do not have devotional heart, you do not have a channel relating to, with opening to God, Godward relation. Even pleasant conditions become obstacles for your spiritual advance. Things happen the way you want. It builds up more ego in you. And your eyes develop an amazing way of looking at people. They are all worms. I am the one most successful. So even pleasant things become big obstacles, durg. But Godward movement, mind daily surrendering to God, doing mantras, praying for grace, that type of mind goes on overcoming obstacles. Countless obstacles are prevented. Nevertheless, challenges have to come in order to allow your inner strength to shine. So two ways, durg, things that seem to obstruct, God gives you an easy resolution how to overcome. Many obstacles are simply prevented. They don't even know. How many negative things have been avoided because of your prayer, your satsanga, you have no idea. Asachatvam ahamkarat. But if you do not listen to my teachings, now God loses his patience. If you do not listen to my teachings due to egoism, you will perish. All this is highly figurative. God doesn't lose any patience. But it is a statement of truth. Truth alone triumphs. If you hold on to illusion will not continue to exist. If you are deluded, you cannot continue to succeed. This is a simple reality. Nobody is angry with anybody. Another point that comes out at this stage, the role of anger. The general instruction, never be angry. But practical life demands the role of anger in many situations. What I'm leading you to understand that anger in itself is not evil. Lord Jesus himself expressed righteous wrath. He goes into a market and does big monkey business. All those merchants, they were all involved in collecting money out of greed. He drives them away. I have led you to a big... In daily life, things will not happen in a practical way if your mind simply stays very soft. The child is going to touch fire. And the mother says, "You look so wonderful. But don't go and touch the fire." The child won't. The child is further encouraged. But mother has to do anything. Shout, hold the hand of the child, act roughly. But when a mother does that, that type of anger is out of goodness of the heart. So try to understand the difference. Tamasic anger, tamasic, rajasic anger is an expression of your weakness and helplessness. Nature in you has gone wild and you can't handle it. Your whole personality just succumbs to anger, lot of sharp words. That is degrading. But in practical life, allowing that anger to operate, to face different situations in a right measure, that type of anger, Hindi word is irada purvak. Irada purvak means you ask your good understanding, is it good for me to be angry? I said, yes. It is an approved. We're approved. Put it in the most easy way to understand. Think of the role of doctors, surgeons. The same knife being pierced in the body is cruel, terroristic. But medical profession has made him study how to do it. He's paid a lot of money for it. I'm joking. The idea is he uses the same, what seems like piercing somebody's body by a knife. But he does it because of science, because of a project of removing a disease, making the patient cured. Tremendous compassion is behind the heart, in the heart. If you understand that, the same act that appears to be kind of a cruel act, behind that there is a lot of compassion. And it is absolutely needed for person's life. If you understand that, then that's I've said enough about the role of anger. Ahankaram ashritya na yotsya iti manyase mityaisha vyavasayaste prakritistvam niyokshyati. Sustained by self-conceit, if you think, I will not fight, your resolve will be in vain, because your very nature will compel you to fight. First point to understand that your whole personality, its nature, called Dharma, has fashioned your body, placed you in a family where you have gotten exact type of inheritance, hereditary factors, all that have been aligned, led by your karma. Now, as you grow in that family, and suddenly you become inspired by somebody else's fortune, and develop the idea that person adopted that particular business and succeeded. I am also going to do exactly the same. Move away from what is natural for you. It's called paradharma. Adopting that course of activity that is not natural to you. And that's a profound psychology, Vedic psychology. Doing things that are natural to you. Some people are teachers. It's natural to them. Some are businessmen. That's natural to them. Even in studying different subjects, people choose different subjects. Mathematics, arts, astronomy, and so many subjects, led by their nature. If you do something contrary to that nature, you may succeed for a while, but something will happen that will frustrate you. And if you succeed, your success inflates your ego more and more. It is not a real success. That's why people who have become very successful in their business that's not swadharma, not natural. Their whole mind is constantly waiting for when will be the time to retire. You do your business, but you are tired out of it already. You have no inspiration. You're just counting your... You're not living your life. Life is lived when you have inner rasam, juice of life. You enjoy what you do. Swadharma, you enjoy what you do. And inspiration develops. Creativity develops. Your ability to touch many people, seva bhav expands. Seva bhav is another point to understand. If your spiritual progress just makes you progress alone by closed door, that's very limited. That's not real progress. If your spiritual progress makes people joyous, as your personality blossoms, you share your fragrance with others. As you gain inner peace, you become more interested in allowing that peace to be shared by others. You figure that out. Then life becomes joyous. When you have a project that enables you to feel that you are sharing good things with others and making them happy, that type of work will not make you feel bored. The day that passes that way will be a joyous day. But the day that passes by inflicting pain in others, that day has been a miserable day. And we will conclude at this. Om Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.